What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another video. My name is Flip.
I'm Element.
And we get together every Sunday to catch up on our favorite Asian dramas, especially Chinese dramas. And today, in this video, we have an amazing and special guest. AvenueX joins us.
So there are a few things that are confusing about Chinese dramas, the vernacular, terminology, and the mythology of it all, and all of the religious stuff. But luckily, we have AvenueX right here to answer the questions for us. So first and foremost, tell us a little about yourself and what's your channel about?
My channel is called AvenueX and I am AvenueX. I've been on YouTube for a little bit over 3 years. My channel looks at Chinese dramas exclusively and also stuff related to dramas such as language aspects, cultural practices, stuff as such. I started this channel because I used to work in China's film and television industry. I've been on crews making films and dramas, so it is something that I know of. I also studied film back many years ago when I was in school. I am very interested in storytelling, especially visual storytelling. It's something that I've always loved and I would like to do for the rest of my life, but maybe in ways that I didn't expect, such as having a YouTube channel. I'm currently based in Canada. I do travel between China and Canada very frequently, but not this year for obvious reasons. Back in 2017, I decided to start this channel mostly because I realized on YouTube there aren't that many people talking about Chinese dramas in English, and I think I have a unique perspective and abilities to talk about this topic. So I started it and I've been running it ever since.
She's definitely like the encyclopedia of Chinese entertainment and Chinese dramas. And if you guys want to check out her channel, link will be in the description below. As Element stated earlier, there are a few things about Chinese dramas that we are still not very sure of. You know, the terminologies, the vernacular, the acronyms, whatnot. What's the difference between Sansa, Whoosh, and period costume dramas?
This is a very good question, and then I can write an essay on it, but long story short, I would say period costume dramas is the older type of dramas. It has always existed since day one when China started to make dramas, historical dramas, dramas that are based on dynasty stories, historical figures. So it is basically people dressed in ancient costumes and pretending to be somebody who has existed many years ago. Then wuxia drama is looking at a particular type of people, the people who have super kind of powers fighting in the jianghu world. It is heavily influenced and kind of grew out of a literature genre called wuxia xiaoshuo, wuxia novel, that I actually did a video about quite some time ago, so I'll leave the thumbnail here. You can go and check out on my channel, talk about the world of jianghu and its origin, how it has affected Chinese contemporary literature and dramas. So the essential difference is wuxia is mostly ancient time setting as well, but it's not focused on real historical figures, mostly fictional figures, and mostly focused on a lot of crazy fighting skills that real humans cannot really have. Then xianxia is the spin-off of wuxia. It combines the fights, the skills in wuxia with mythology. So in xianxia, mostly you will come across characters who are not just humans, who at least are cultivated humans who have superpowers, or just plainly gods and fairies and any type of non-human magical beings. It will include a lot of CGI, a lot of fighting, but fighting that actually has magic behind it. That's the best way to explain it. Xianxia also came from novels, web novels mostly, that started to go everywhere in Chinese web novel world since the early 2000s. And one of the most successful adaptation to screen would be 2014's Hua Qiangu, Journey of a Flower. Ever since then, a lot of production companies eyed at this genre as web novel, picked the most popular ones, bought their copyright, tried to make them into dramas. So it is a relatively much younger genre of storytelling that you can trace back to wuxia and costume dramas.
We also wanted to know, what is your favorite Chinese drama?
I think I've answered somewhere in my own Q&A before, which is I don't have one. I am a very greedy person. I watch way too many dramas for normal humans' mental health. And because I've watched that many and I have a lot that I love, so it's very hard for me to pick a favorite one. It's very hard to compare, say, a contemporary drama to a period drama. They just do not exist in the same kind of category, so I would not be able to pick out which one is my favorite. I just have too many.
That's a very interesting and honest question because I myself can't pin my favorite drama of all time. I have a favorite drama of 2020 and 2019, but she's right. There's way too many, and the more we watch, the more we're gonna muddle our pool a little bit, our selection pool.
Yeah, but out of all time, I really don't know that answer either. Like, I can't.
Yeah, what's wrong with you
pinpoint
asking this question? I have a feeling I know her answer to this question, but we're gonna ask it anyway. What's the worst drama?
Also very difficult because honestly, in Chinese drama land, like I'm not including every other country's dramas, probably every year 60% of the dramas you see are bad dramas, really, really bad. Maybe another 30% are like, okay, barely watchable. Then 10% are like, okay, I can sit down and watch it and not feeling my life is totally wasted. And among that, probably only 1% I would consider to be highly recommended and you definitely have to go to watch type of drama. There isn't a worse one because there are too many bad ones, too many. And they have to actually do a fight off to win the top position, and I am not interested in judging that competition at all.
I was expecting this answer, and it's honestly a good answer because coming off of Untamed, coming off of Evernight, at least for me, and I don't know about Flip, but as we watch new dramas, there's a lot of bad ones that we run into, right? And it's very understandable to think that there's just so many, and picking the worst one could just be redundant.
I mean, especially for 2020, there is so much content out there. It's like an ocean. It's a universe of content, and it's really, really hard to pinpoint which ones are the best and which ones are the worst, but I can tell you 2020 has been disappointing so far. And we wanted to throw a curveball here. Zhao Zhan or Wang Yibu?
Neither. Neither. Not my type. If you ask me Bai Yu or Zhuilong, I would be much more interested in that question, but I still would not provide you with an answer because Chinese dramaland and Chinese fandom sometimes is a little bit too crazy. I do not want to say anything that may get me into trouble. If you guys, Flip and Element, are not aware of that, I highly recommend you do some research about how fandom works in China. The good thing about you is you're probably not on China's social media, so you should be relatively safe. As for me, because I'm Chinese, because I just have too much connection to China, I am not gonna say anything in public about these two. Period.
What about Yang Mi or Nini?
Is it like if I were an emperor, which one would I pick to be my empress? As an actress, I would say I prefer Nini. I would also say in China, within the industry, people view these two actresses as totally two types of actress. So one would be better suited for one type of work, the other would be better suited for another type. If it's purely about personal preference, who I think is a more engaging actress, I would definitely pick Nini.
I figured there would be a safe answer to this. I think it's safe to say we're kind of protected in this kind of Western fandom blanket almost, and we're not subject to like Weibo or any of the SNS in China and in that market. And so, I mean, I'm kind of crazy with my stands as well, my biases in K-pop groups and Chinese actresses, and so I get how that could be a very touchy subject or very taboo to talk about, and so I appreciate the answer.
Yeah, but I really love Nini, so thank you so much for mentioning her name. I happen to think that she is one of the best actresses in Chinese entertainment, bar none.
Of course, with Evernight being one of our favorite dramas of last year and this year, we wanted to know if you could recommend any dramas that are like it.
Okay, this is a hard question because we definitely have different opinions about Evernight. I am not a personal Evernight fan. I know I have fans on my channel who love Evernight, definitely fine with that. My personal opinion about this drama is I haven't finished watching it. The first thing that turned me away is it's too long. It's just really long, the first one and the second one. Even if it's not that long, I probably also would not watch the first Evernight because I didn't buy into the two leads relationship, especially male lead actors acting. It just didn't quite sell the character to me. I really like the female lead actress. I think she's brilliant. She is so talented for her age. I just feel the two leads are not balanced in terms of their abilities of acting. And when it comes to this genre, the fantasy novel adaptation to drama kind of stuff in China, there are many. There are many, and it's one of those hot ones that production companies will like to buy and make into existence, although most of them fail. For example, the Tribes and Empires series, I would say, are very similar to Evernight type of setup. The writers of those novels are heavily influenced by Western writers such as Tolkien, such as George R. R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones, and they try to create a similar story that has a very big epic scale that looks at different powers fighting each other off, and then there's this prophecy element in that. All that type of fantasy novel that's very well established in the West. China doesn't naturally have this type of novel, so a lot of the writers are trying to bridge all those type of literature together, create their own sort of Chinese culture-based version. Evernight is just one of many web novels that are in this genre. So there's always hope for a better one, or even one that will literally take the Chinese drama to a different level. You know, it can always happen, but I don't think so far it has happened yet. I don't know if this is a good enough answer. Like recent years, you have like Tribes and Empires, the first one, and then the one Eagle Flag that came out last year also didn't do really well. It is really a high risk of making dramas within this genre because it tends to be super expensive. And some of them are really ambitious. The camera work, the sets, like Tribes and Empires, went to real locations to shoot insane stuff. Often people forget about the most important thing of a drama is the storytelling itself. Scriptwriters' ability to control the narrative, to create believable, lovable characters, to make the plot interesting enough, engaging enough. A lot of those fantasy big epic dramas lose that. They forget how to tell a good story. So eventually the story doesn't pull people in, no matter how cool your sets, your costumes, and how much hard work went into it. I mean, I look at the documentary of how they filmed Eagle Flag. It was like the amount of energy, the people, the resources, the pain people endured making that drama, yet it pretty much flopped in China. It just shows this is such a high risk genre that if you are willing to put that much money into making drama like that, you better first get a great script down. So that would be my opinion about that entire genre of dramas, not exclusively to Evernight.
That's a very understandable answer. I think for us, what resonated with us with Evernight is the fact that, yeah, it had a lot of high fantasy, high mythology that was reminiscent of Lord of the Rings and all of the Western high fantasy books and movies and media that we're used to.
Especially Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And what I would say about that is, as it's kind of just, you know, the big budget, you know, effects that are in Evernight, it is so explosive and so exciting, and so that's why we kind of gravitate towards it. But I will understand that it is kind of a high-risk genre, and, you know, I would admit that there were a lot after Evernight. We've been searching for one show after another, and none of them can really, you know, catch our attention or are ever good enough. And so, you know, even though, you know, we have different opinions about Evernight, Evernight will always be at the top echelon of our lists in terms of that type of Chinese drama.
I also agree with AvenueX. I didn't buy into their relationship. I completely shipped him with Mo Shan.
That is it for our video. We wanted to thank AvenueX for being part of our video, and if you're interested in diving into the deeper parts of Chinese dramas, check out her channel. The link will be in the description below.
Also, if you want to check out our video on AvenueX's channel, the link will be in the card here, I think. Yeah, over here. We'll go over to her channel, check it out. We have a video over there. And yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed our video, or if you enjoyed hearing AvenueX's answers to our questions, leave a like, turn on notifications, and subscribe to us if you're new. But as always, we'll see you in the next one.